Jungkook's shocking confession about Taehyung, the world instantly excited. Jungkook and Taehyung's names once again rocked the global entertainment world. The two youngest members of BTS, who have been known to have a close relationship since their debut, are now back in the spotlight after Jungkook unexpectedly made a confession that made the whole world excited. The confession not only touched the hearts of fans, but also opened up an emotional side that he rarely shows in public. In an exclusive interview that aired recently, Jungkook talked about many things, from his career, the pressure of popularity, to the figure who understands him best. But among all those topics, the one thing that left everyone speechless was when he mentioned Taehyung's name. The atmosphere initially looks relaxed, full of laughter and warmth. Jungkook sat down with a characteristic faint smile, answering questions one by one in a low, cautious tone. But when the interviewer asked who was the most influential person in her life outside of her family, her expression changed drastically. He paused for a moment, looked down, then let out a long sigh before finally saying quietly, "If it wasn't for Taehyung, I probably wouldn't be who I am today." A simple sentence is like a thunderbolt in broad daylight for the fans. Armies around the world instantly shook social media, spilling emotion, and curiosity. Jungkook, who is known to be secretive about his feelings, suddenly spoke so openly about someone who has been considered a friend and brother among the 7 members of BTS. But this time, the tone was different. There is sincerity, there is vulnerability, and there is something that he has never expressed before. He's always there when everyone else is busy judging you. Jungkook continued in a trembling voice. There were times when I felt lost. I don't know who I am without a stage, without a camera. But Taehyung came, sat next to me without saying much, and just said, "You don't have to be anyone to be loved, Kook." That sentence I remember until now. The statement instantly sparked a wave of emotional reactions from fans who watched the interview. For those who have followed BTS's journey since the beginning, the relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung has always been interesting. They both debuted at a young age, were both far from their families, and had to grow up in a harsh world, under a global spotlight. Their friendship is built on laughter, tears, even small quarrels that end up making them even stronger. However, it is rare for Jungkook to talk about his personal feelings for Taehyung publicly. Usually, he chooses to express that closeness through small gestures, a look, a hug, or a light joke. But this time, his words felt so deep, so honest, as if there was something he had long hidden. Many fans speculated that Jungkook's confession was a form of his appreciation for Taehyung's huge role in his life's journey, especially after the difficult times they went through together. Some even consider this moment to be vivid evidence that their relationship is more than just colleagues. They are two souls who understand each other in silence. "He and I don't need to talk much," Jungkook said in the interview. "Sometimes it's enough to look at each other, and we know what each other is feeling." What makes the atmosphere even more emotional is how Jungkook describes the changes in him because of Taehyung's figure. "I used to be not very good at expressing feelings," she says. "But he always said, it's okay to feel weak, it's okay to cry. Being strong doesn't mean always smiling. From him, I learned to be a human being, not just an idol." After the interview was released, international media immediately highlighted this moment. Many major outlets such as Billboard, Rolling Stone, to Korean media such as Dispatch and Naver wrote about how Jungkook's confession of Taehyung became a global topic. Trending on X, Twitter, the hashtag Jungkook and Taehyung immediately shot to the first position in more than 60 countries. Fans from around the world posted snippets of the interview along with crying emojis and comments such as "Their friendship is too sincere for this industry," and "Taehyung really is Jungkook's silent savior." Some longtime fans even linked Jungkook's statement to old moments that now feel like they have new meaning. Like during the Love Yourself concert in Seoul, when Jungkook seemed to shed tears on stage and Taehyung came over without saying anything, just patting his shoulder softly. Or when in the documentary Break the Silence, Jungkook had said that Taehyung was the figure who taught him to feel. Now, all the pieces of that moment seem to be a whole story, but behind the outrage, there was also wild speculation from some entertainment media that tried to exaggerate the recognition. Some have suggested that Jungkook's words contain a hidden meaning about relationships that go deeper than just being friends. It was immediately dismissed by the army, which confirmed that what Jungkook expressed was a form of sincerity and honesty of two people who had gone through a journey of living together for more than a decade. Love isn't always romantic, one fan wrote on social media. Sometimes, it is the deepest gratitude between two souls who have grown together under the pressure of the world. BTS has long been known as a group that upholds the value of brotherhood. But Jungkook's confession this time brought a different atmosphere. There is a mature feeling, there is a subtle sense of loss, and there is a love that feels more human. Jungkook is now in the most honest phase of his life, where he is no longer hiding behind the perfect image of a superstar. "I've lived too long to please others," he said at the end of the interview. "But Taehyung always reminds me to live for myself." The sentence became an emotional blow for millions of fans. Jungkook, who has always been known to be passionate and hardworking, apparently keeps a big burden behind his smile. And Taehyung, a figure who always appears calm and mysterious, seems to be where Jungkook has been leaning all this time. The world may only see two idols on stage, but behind them, they are two human beings who keep each other from losing themselves in the midst of the world's glitter. Now, after the shocking confession, Jungkook and Taehyung's relationship has once again become a symbol of warmth in the often cold and stressful entertainment industry. They are not only friends, but also witnesses to each other's life journey. In the midst of a world full of uncertainty, they show that sincerity still exists, even behind the glare of stage lights. And for ARMY, Jungkook's words that night will always be remembered. "I will never forget the person who kept me who I am." The confession is not just news. It was a reminder that behind all the fame, there is a fragile heart, there is a sincere sense, and there is someone who secretly guards us from behind. The world may be excited, but for Jungkook and Taehyung, maybe it's all just a way for the universe to show that true friendship can still survive, even in the most dazzling of glitters. When Jungkook's interview ended that night, the world seemed to stop for a moment. Armies around the world are still fixated on the last sentence that Jungkook said in a slow but meaningful tone. "I will never forget the person who made me stay who I am," she said. The sentence echoed, breaking the silence of the hearts of many who watched it. For some, it's just an idol's greeting to his best friend. But for those who understood Jungkook and Taehyung's journey from the start, it felt like a love letter, not in a romantic sense, but rather a form of deepest respect for someone who once saved his soul. Social media has become a sea of emotions. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag Jungkook confession, hashtag team support Jungkook, and hashtag KookV began to dominate the world's timeline.